There he is. What's up, bro?
Yo, sorry I'm late, man.
All good, all good. I was just deleting my text to Ken to make sure we were on time for today. But I won't keep you for too long. Want to get into the show and look back a little bit, talk a little Orange County, talk a little OC. But first and foremost, man, how's the move been out to Tennessee? I mean, you grew up in Orange County your whole life and moved out, what, 2, 3 years ago? How long's it been now?
Man, it's going on 4.
Oh, wow, that long.
Um, well, I started coming out to Tennessee back in like '05 for songwriting stuff, and I'd spend like a week, a month out here. So it's been like my second home for many years, and then we bought a house a few years before we actually moved here. So we were kind of doing the back and forth and the Airbnb thing and all that, and then, but man, we moved out here and just really haven't looked back. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I've been out there twice. I had a niece who was going to Vanderbilt, so I've been out there and seen all the madness on Broadway. But I imagine you're kind of more in town, not around that mess.
We were in town pretty close to that mess for a year, and then we moved out to the country. So yeah, we're out about a half hour south of that now. So it's pretty cool.
And obviously, your brother AJ moved out there with you. Did Kevin move too?
Yep, Kevin's still in OC,
Okay, okay.
still holding out hope.
Well, dude, I want to get into the big show we got coming up here, and a hell of a show, and it's so perfect. You guys at the House of Blues, October the 19th, FenixTX, and old friends, Zebrahead, man. And I was trying to think back. Imagine you guys probably met at like Club 369 in Fullerton back in the day or something like that.
Absolutely. We're actually from, they're kind of, I mean, there was a time where a couple of the guys in Zebrahead lived in the same condo complex as AJ and Kevin back in the early days. But before that, yeah, Club 369, both bands used to play all the time there. We shared the bill together a few times there. And early on, I think we did the Warp Tour together in '99, but they've been old friends. They're from, we're from like the Anahiem Fullerton area, and they're from like the Fullerton La Habra area. So it all kind of connects. Yeah, they've been our boys for 25 plus years.
Guadalajara.
Yeah. And we haven't seen the FenixTX guys in, man, at least 15 years. I know they reunited to do the When We Were Young festival. So we're all doing that together in Vegas. And we thought, well, hey, we're going to be out there and there's cool bands doing it with us. Let's go peel off and go do a couple shows in our hometown.
Love it, man. And any excuse to see you guys at the House of Blues. Obviously, the new one now, you've played there a couple times, right? But when I think of Lit, I always think back to that old one in downtown Disney.
Yeah. Well, we did the grand opening of the old one, and then we did the closing of the old one, and then we did, I think, 8 or 9 in between. So we kind of had, I think we did 10 shows at the original one, and then the new one we've only played once. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's double the size, and it's a killer venue. Great room to see a show.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about the other day. I mean, never has a business done everything right. Everything they screwed up in the old one, they got right in the new one. Parking, sight lines, the floor being sloped so everyone in the back can see. I mean, it's a killer venue now.
Yeah, great sound, great lights, great staff. It's a good spot for sure.
And, dude, thinking about all the Inland Empire times that Lit's been out in the IE, of course, thinking back immediately to the holiday ball that you guys played at Morongo back, God, 2017. That's already been, what, 5 years ago now, man?
Flying by. Flying by. Yeah, I mean, we don't talk about it a whole lot just because everyone goes, oh, Lit, Anahiem, Fullerton. But AJ and I actually lived in Ontario when we were kids. For a few years, and we have a lot of friends out there. So obviously we listen to you guys, and we got a lot of friends out in Rancho and Ontario. A lot of our OGs are out there. So yeah, it's all hometown for us.
Dude, I was trying to think. There's been so many Lit IE experiences, man. I was thinking back to some of them, whether it was opening up the Fender Museum in Corona. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Or the weirdest one of them all, I think, was playing a middle school in Marietta. Do you remember that around the time Atomic came out?
We did yeah, I totally remember that. We did a couple of those, and I can't remember why or who set that up or whatever, because it was kind of random. We were on tour, we're doing radio and we're playing these shows, and then, we're going to go play a high school. We're like, all right, let's go do it. But we did 2 or 3 of them, and that was one in Marietta, and it was cool. We still to this day meet people that were at that thing, which is crazy, you know.
Wow. Yeah, that goes to show. I mean, what an impact you had on all those people at such a young age.
I remember back in like, I want to say probably 97 or 98, we actually played a frat party at UC Riverside. That was crazy. But yeah, we've done a lot of stuff down there, you know.
Had to have played the barn back in the day too at UC Riverside.
Yeah. Yep.
And even just to make us feel older, I remember I was working at the other station back in the day, but when Atomic came out, we did an in-store with you guys and you weren't able to be there because you had just had a baby. And thinking back now, that baby's 21 years old.
That baby just graduated from college. If that don't make you feel old, you know. Yeah, it's funny too. That one. So we did an in-store in I don't know, somewhere in Orange County, South Orange County, the night before. And I remember my wife was going into labor. And I remember I'm in the bathroom of the delivery room with my plaid pants on and my wife beater, and I'm putting eyeliner on in the mirror of the hospital room. And then I kind of like check in and I'm like, okay, our contractions are this far apart. And I walked up to the nurse and I was like, I got to go do something. Don't have that baby till I get back. You know, just whatever you do, don't let them come out. And then I went, we did the in-store. And then that night when I got back, they gave me a couple thousand CD booklets to sign for tomorrow night's in-store, which is the one you were talking about. Yeah, so
the one in Riverside.
I actually had a fan one time give me a copy of that. She was like, this is one of the ones you signed in the delivery room. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I don't have one of these, but that is kind of rad that, you know, I signed all those literally like a couple hours before my son came out, you know. So that was pretty cool.
Crazy, man. And you know, talking about old times, got to give a shout out to you and all that you did for music, going back to Orange County and the SlideBar, man. That was such a cool venue and so many great shows there and such a cool breeding ground for younger bands to get playing again. But and then it was cool when you'd bring like Avenged Sevenfold in there and they'd play, you know, some big parking lot show. But what a great run at that club. How long did you own that for? How long was that running?
Thank you. Yeah, 15 years, man. We had a good run. It's funny because it started out as it started out as I wanted it to be more of a place that bands on tour would come in and hang out and eat and drink, and it wasn't really originally intended to be a music venue. It was intended to be a place where our friends could come in and do secret shows like Avenged Sevenfold or Sublime or Shadows Fall, or there's so many different bands that played there that were awesome. But as I would say, probably 2 or 3 years into it, we realized that there was really a need for a venue that size and with that kind of vibe, and run by artists and run by, I had such a great team of people that worked with me, and it really did become sort of a launching ground for a lot of bands that are doing really well now. And over the years, it was cool because bands that would end up going off to headline, Warped Tour, amphitheaters or whatever, they would always come back and, do a party or do a secret show or doing whatever. And it really, it's one of those things that you're so busy and you're doing all this stuff as you go. And then you look back on it over the course of some years and you go, wow, we really did do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was such a killer venue, man, and sorely missed these days. But talking about 15, thinking back on old times, I remember the 15th anniversary of A Place in the Sun, and you guys playing that at the old House of Blues, and it got me to thinking. And as we're talking about feeling old, 2024 then would be the 25th anniversary of A Place in the Sun. You guys going to go out and do it in its entirety again?
We're talking about doing something. We kind of already did the whole play the album from front to back thing. Mm-hmm. We're going to do something to celebrate the milestone, but we're not going to go and do the whole album thing. I think what we'll do is just be more of a celebration of that record, but with, mixed up with other stuff. I feel like that whole play the whole album from front to back thing is a little bit played out, and it's also kind of limiting because, then you're kind of blowing your wad on the second song, and then you're like, what do we do here? Oh, well, the next song is this. So It was fun when we did it, but yeah, we'll do something. We'll definitely do something to celebrate it because, man, who would have thought, you know?
I love that 15th anniversary. I remember I got a shirt that night and it was like the Miller Lite can, but said lit and had the 15th anniversary for A Place in the Sun. So totally made me think of that with that anniversary being right around the corner. And as we look back, we also got to look to the current and now and Tastes Like Gold, the killer new album. And curious, man, who got to be the tongue model for that one?
Ha. Actually, it's a girl that I know. We've known her for a long, long time, and she actually owns a makeup company, like a glitter sparkle makeup company in LA. And so I was always seeing her posts and her things, and just had great lips, you know. So I hit her up. Actually, it's funny. I actually hit up Tracy Lords. You know who that is?
Yeah, of course,
I,
of course.
I hit her up on the DM and told her what we were doing, and she just sort of replied back with like a heart emoji or something. So I didn't know how to take that. But yeah, the girl that did it, Megan, she was awesome. She also not only did all that for the album cover, but she ended up going back and doing all of the lyrics, lip syncing all the lyrics to all the songs. So we've got YouTube lyric videos that have her own words, and then working on incorporating some of that into the set. So, but yeah, Tastes Like Gold's been out. Geez, even that now has been out for a year.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but it's an old school sounding lit record. You know, during COVID, we were using the downtime to write songs and record, and our goal and our mission with that record was to go back to 98 to 2001. And, you know, we were kind of listening to those records, but also listening to the other music we were listening to around that time, and just trying to put ourselves in a different place other than COVID and politics. And we're just trying to remember the spirit of what our band is about and what people, you know, expect from lit and what lit means to them and what it means to us. And so we collaborated with some people out here in Tennessee, and we think we really kind of nailed it with the vibe of the record. You know, it sounds like a record we could have made in '99. It just has a modern, fresh production approach to it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. It feels like an old jacket, like putting on an old jacket or something. Just has that old familiar feel, and old familiar friends on it too. Cool that Adrian Young pitched in on Mouth Shut.
Yeah, that was fun. He did the video with us too, and kind of early on, I sent him 2 or 3 songs, and he's got a studio in the basement of his house. He's got his drum set all mic'd up and everything in there. And we sent him the tracks and to see what he thought. Told him that, you know, we'd love to have him on there. He actually sent 3 songs back with him playing on all 3.
Oh, wow.
And then we went back and just said, hey, I think we're going to do Mouth Shut. And so we did that. And yeah, it came out great. You know, and Adrian's been such a bro since, you know, we toured with them in 2000 and just became really good friends with them. I actually was just camping with Gwen and Blake last month and got to kind of reconnect with her after all those years. But they've just been great friends, you know. And Adrian was really close with our drummer Al that passed away. They were good buddies, and Adrian even filled in for Al for a few shows back then when he was sick. And just a solid dude, man. We love that guy.
Hey, bringing up Alan, I didn't want to touch upon him. I always want to keep the dead alive by remembering them, telling some good stories. And I had recently talked to Jared from Head PE, and he had mentioned that they were old roommates back in the day.
Yeah.
Is that when you met Alan, or was he already in the band at that point? Or
no, Al was already in our band. Actually, Chad from Head PE was actually in our band. He was the second guitar player for a while. And so Chad and Jared and Alan had an apartment together in Huntington Beach. But yeah, we had already known Al for several years, and the bands were already rocking. So yeah, that's a small world.
Very small world. And give me one good old story about Al. One that jumps to mind.
Oh man, there's so many. You know, Al was one of those guys that he was the salt of the earth, you know, healthy guy, man's man, loved to go grab a beer with his buddies, loved to go play golf, was really passionate about his drums, always practicing, always, you know, just and one of the most reliable like guys you could count on. You know, just was just as solid as they come. And also he was never married. He has a daughter, and she's, oh God, she's got to be 30 something now,
Oh,
early
wow.
30s. But his daughter Gina is great, but he was never married, and he was the guy. I don't know. He had some sort of magic spell, but I don't know anybody still to this day that gets laid or has gotten laid as much as that guy did. And I guarantee you, he has not one enemy or not one of those girls. You know, every single one of those girls that he would bring around or that he would hook up with, all would tell you today, like, oh, he's the best guy. He's such a sweetheart. And people used to just go like, dude, how do you do this? Like, and he just was that guy, you know. And we used to laugh. We used to laugh all the time. And he was just a funny guy. And yeah, I mean, I could tell you stories for days about him, but he's someone was asking me the other day, just like, you know, what it's like, and if we realize how long it's been since he's, you know, not been with us. And I think it's kind of crazy because those albums are still so relevant and still talked about and still played on the radio, and then we're out, you know, every week playing those songs. It's almost like he's still with us, you know, all the time. So as much as we miss having him around, we miss him. It's like it's cool that, you know, he lives on through the music. And I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's true. You know, I feel him behind me when I'm on stage. You know, I feel him when I'm hearing the songs on the radio. I hear him and I feel him. And so we're very, very blessed in that sense that he's still with us every day, still around us all the time. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate a couple of words on him, man. That's why I'm saying we got to keep talking about him to keep them alive and keep their memory alive and their legacy.
Sure.
One other newer thing I didn't want to touch upon here, man, in the last few minutes, was really cool that you guys pitched in with Diamante on American Dream. I had originally interviewed her when that album came out, and then I heard the remix with you guys. I was like, wait, what's going on here? I didn't realize that you guys had been added to that tune. I know Kevin's taken a bunch of photos of her and stuff, but tell me how you connected with her for that track.
So she's like a little sister now to us, but she's dating my drummer Taylor. So that's how we got connected with her and got to know her. And Taylor works on a lot of her music, produces a lot of her stuff. So that's how that all came about. But yeah, it came out cool. We recorded it here in Nashville, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, obviously
an unexpected collab, but it was in the family, so we were like, yeah, let's do it. And then everybody was pretty stoked on how it came out, you know.
Yeah, it sounded great. And just want to touch upon that because I love her and her voice and what she's doing, and just wanted to give her a shout out as well. Dude, last thing I got for you, we're an old school radio station. We still do mandatory Metallica every night at 10 p.m., which you're going to be a part of. And kind of curious, man, you being the guitar player, the riff guy, do you remember the first Metallica riff you learned?
Man, well, I went way back. I was, you know, I had the EP, and then I actually saw them open for Ozzy on the
Master.
That was Master of Puppets tour, but I was Cliff was still playing bass with them, and so I had all their records, but you know, the two before that, and so I was young, so I was struggling to learn the riffs, but probably like Master of Puppets, I think was one that I used to jam out all the time. I used to play. I had an older stepbrother who was in the Marine Corps, and he was stationed out in Japan. And back in those days, you could get like, you know, a $10,000 stereo system for like $1,000, you know, and he was shipping stuff home, and he wasn't coming home anytime soon. So I was putting all that stuff in my room, and I had this stereo system that, like, my parents would go to work and I'd be getting ready for school. My friends would all come over to my house on the way, and we'd all go to school together. And you could hear my stereo. I would open my windows and open my doors, and you could hear that. You could hear it for like 3 blocks away. And I would literally crank Master of Puppets to the point of, like, you know, windows breaking and ears bleeding or whatever. And the neighbors probably thought I was insane, but yeah.
Dude, and so then your perfect answer to this debate I've been having. Me and my buddy Brad have been debating the best Metallica album ever. His pick, my friend Brad's pick, is Ride the Lightning. My pick is Master of Puppets. Out of those two, which would be your numero uno?
I would say Master of Puppets. I mean, there's some amazing stuff on Ride the Lightning too. Um, it's kind of like picking between Boss's first record and Don't Look Back, you know? It's
Right.
like, I'll just take the greatest hits of both, and that'll be my favorite one, you know?
I think Master was a little bit more realized, and you had like Orion, a really cool instrumental tune, and Welcome Home, and everything that soft to everything as heavy as Battery and Master and Damage Inc. and everything else. So I feel like it was kind of more realized and sounded a lot better than Ride the Lightning did sonically.
Oh, yeah. Still didn't have a whole lot of bass in it, but it had more than Ride the Lightning had.
Way more than Injustice for All had.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of the things I've always loved about Metallica is they're sort of the top dogs in that genre, but I think what makes them stand out more than a lot of the heavier bands is Avenged Sevenfold I would put in that category too, but they're melodic and approachable. The riffs are memorable. You can jam along to them. The melodies of the songs, the melodies of the riffs, it's memorable. And I think to be able to take music that's that heavy but make it, melodic and kind of a little bit more accessible, I think that's why they're so massive. Because you could hear Master of Puppets in an elevator music song. It'd take you 30 seconds to go, wait, is that? But because of all the melodies and all the stuff, they're what can you say about Metallica, man? Original.
What song can we play for you on Mandatory Metallica? Do you have a favorite Metallica tune?
Oh man, I think the one that I always remember cranking the loudest before school was Battery.
Yeah,
that one just would get my blood going, man. Get me ready for the day. So let's do a little Battery. That'd be cool.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time. Honored to talk to you. Can't wait to see you out there at the House of Blues.
Likewise, my friend. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you soon, man.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.